Well, I guess I'm ready. Here's my 31st day, first video. We'll begin with class vocabulary. It should be beginning to get rather normal. I want to say that I'm sorry about the sound. I'm still trying to make it so it's synchronized. There's a man named Ed. I don't know the man, but I know he's watched some of these videos and he's from England. And he is having some trouble understanding me. His comment, I think, was that it sounds like I'm speaking with gum in my mouth. I would never do that. But I think that that's something, a way of making fun of an American accent. I don't know. But with the sound being not right, it's worse, and I'm going fast. Well, I'm going to go fast. Josh is giving us our words today, so who's got a word for us today? Josh raised his hand. I've got one. What is it? Gawking. Gawking. Okay, I write it. Have I got it spelled right? Yep, you got it spelled right, so I underline it. Everyone can now write the word down. What's the context? They were gawking at me. Okay? And how about the stress pattern? Which is how many syllables and which one is stressed? Gawking. I hope you know. Listen, gawking. How many? Well, there's two. And the first one is stressed, so I'll underline that. Otherwise it would be, oh, that's spelled wrong. Gawking. It's gawking. Okay, now, does anyone know what it means? Gawking. Or wait, the part of speech. What part of speech is it? Well, they were doing it. It's a verb. And I hope the kids would get this. And of course I go back to Josh to check, is this right? Anyone know what it means? Well, eventually, after 2 or 3 guesses, I'll go to Josh and he'll say, well, the dictionary said staring stupidly. Or it might have been more complicated, but he reduced it to that. Good. Staring stupidly. Now, what about the etymology? Where do you suppose that word came from? Now, I might have all kinds of guessing. But ultimately, in this case, the etymology is unknown. They don't know where it came from. That happens. But when that happens, a dictionary does not just leave it blank. It says unknown, some kind of unknown. So if the student can't find it, that doesn't necessarily mean it's unknown. There's more about finding etymology than I've taken time to tell you. All right, good. Thank you for that word. Anybody else have a word? There he is. Josh got his hand up again. I've got another one. There it is. Chardonnay. And I probably did not spell this right, so I'd say check. And he'd say, no, there's 2 N's. Okay, thanks, and I'll get it right. And I'll say, now class, you can all write the word down. Chardonnay. What's the context? Bring Chardonnay. Okay, and remember, I sometimes ask the kids, where did you get the word? But I don't always. So we're leaving the documentation aside for now. Chardonnay. How is it stressed? Am I pronouncing it right? Chardonnay. Yes. How's it stressed? How many syllables? Which one is stressed? Chardonnay. And eventually I'd hope a kid could figure out that there's 3, and it's the third one. Chardonnay. Otherwise it would be Chardonnay or Chardonnay. It's Chardonnay. Anyone know what it means? Well, some kid might. He said, yeah, I saw that in my dad's liquor cabinet or whatever. Chardonnay. It's a kind of wine. A kind of white wine, says Josh. Yes, that's right. What's the etymology? Now it's wine, the accent's on the final syllable. Notice it's capitalized. And eventually, what's your guess? I wonder what your guess is. You can probably guess correctly. It's French. And it probably comes from the name of a place. I usually tell kids, don't bring me proper nouns in class vocabulary. I don't want proper nouns, just like I don't want words that are bigger than 3 syllables. And I still haven't told you why the 3 syllables. Proper nouns, I won't take the time to explain. But I'll accept this. I'm forgiving sometimes, especially at the start. And this is a proper noun that has come to mean something generic. Kind of white wine. Thanks, Josh. One more word for today, and then we got all 3. There's Josh again. Distraught. Good. I probably could spell that right. Oh, and Chardonnay, incidentally, I would get them to guess that that's a noun. It's naming something. Friends were distraught but at peace. Okay. How about the stress pattern? Can anybody hear it? Distraught. And somebody hopefully would raise their hand and say, there's 2 syllables. The second one is stressed. Distraught. Yes, that's right. How about the part of speech? Friends were distraught but at peace. Well, I'd hope eventually the kids might guess that it is an adjective. I might point out that it's an adjective made from a verb, but I probably would not. I'd say, right, it's an adjective. Anyone know what it means? Somebody maybe wouldn't know. Might have to go back to Josh and he'd say it means trouble. Good. How about the etymology? Look at that AU. Look at that AU. That would be a hint, although the GHT, that would make me think Old English. But anyway, and the DI, that's probably a Latin prefix. I don't know. My own guess probably would have been Old English and I would have got it wrong. Your guess maybe is right. Comes from French, says Josh. All right, we got our 3 words. Good. Let's go back now and see if anyone can take that first word and put it in a sentence. The boy was gawking at the pretty girl. Hey, good. Yeah, that makes sense. Can somebody else give a sentence? And I go for 3. I go for 3 usually. How about Chardonnay? Somebody raise a hand. I want to drink some Chardonnay. Okay, yeah, I call that right. Anybody else? Chardonnay tastes awful. Fine, good. How about the third one? Distraught. My parents were distraught at me last night. Good. That makes sense. And I'd get 3, as I say. How about 2 of them in one sentence? Can you do that? Somebody raise their hand and says, well, I was distraught that boy was gawking at me, says some girl. I don't blame you. You ought to be. Good. That made perfect sense. Can anybody else do it? Some boy raised his hand and said, she should not be distraught that I am gawking at her. Oh, no, that's the same sentence. I want you to, you come up with something better. Raise your hand. I'm distraught that I cannot drink Chardonnay. Okay, that's kind of ornery of you to say that, but yes, that makes sense. I didn't, these sentences don't have to. Anyway, that's fine. It looks like you know what these words mean. Can anybody get all 3 in one sentence? Somebody, they think for a while, and they're usually thrilled to do this. Somebody comes up with something like, I was distraught that I could not drink some Chardonnay, so I gawked at it in the liquor closet. Good, yeah, that's good. Can anybody put all 3 and an allusion to some famous movie? Somebody says, Harry Potter was gawking at the Chardonnay, but he was distraught when he tasted it and it was bad. Good, Harry Potter. That's a character from a famous movie. You've got an allusion. And I might say, can anybody take one of the 6 we have from before and put it in a sentence? And somebody would say, the bourgeois man was boisterous when he found out that he could not drink Chardonnay, but he gawked at it and was distraught, or something like that. It doesn't matter. They practiced with the words. All right, I've made it within 10 minutes, class vocabulary. Tomorrow we'll get 3 more words. By Friday you've got to be able to spell all 12 of them correctly and use them in sentences. See you real soon for one more video today. Bye.